Okay, now I'd like to show you how to sharpen a cutter. Keeping this cutter sharp is one of the main reasons for success with a tool. If you try to use a dull cutter and force your way into the wood, you're going to have failure. You'll bend a knife or something will happen. You'll just work too hard. So make sure you keep the cutter sharp. When I'm coring large bowls, I'll sharpen on an 18, 19-inch bowl every bowl. If we're working with an 8 or a 9-inch bowl, we might get several bowls before we have to sharpen. The larger the bowl, the more amount of wood that comes off per pass. As you keep sharpening the cutters, it would be a good idea to rotate through the system from the 8 to the 15 or 16-inch bowl, so you wear them down equally, okay? Now, if you can look, we have two different cutters. We have one of the older style cutters and one of the newer style cutters that we have developed to help reduce friction, and it will cut a lot easier with less resistance than the older style cutter. All of the newer coring tools will be coming with the diamond point cutter. If you look at this cutter, this is the older style cutter, and it has a flat point going around like this. And the new cutter, if you look, has a knife edge on the right hand side that will help keep the cut running on course. It won't pull to the outside as much with this cutter, and you'll find it a little bit easier to use. Now, to sharpen these cutters, it's very easy. I recommend using a grinder rather than a whetstone. But what you want to remember is you are sharpening the cutter and not grinding the cutter. Minimal amount of material has to be removed to make the tool sharp. Now we'll go to the grinder and I will show you how to sharpen this new cutter that will be packaged with the coring tools from now on. And if you already have some of the older tools, how to reshape those into this tool. A very easy fix. Now let's go to the grinder. The first thing I'd like to sharpen is one of the older style cutters. We'd like to sharpen it into the newer style cutter that has the diamond V point. To do that, the first thing I'd like to do is to take a magic marker, and we will just color in the top with a magic marker. Now what this will do is, if we don't get all the way to the edge, and as we sharpen, we'll just see a little black edge, and we'll know that it's not sharpened. And we'll do the same thing to this one while we've got it right here. Okay, now setting the base at approximately a 15-degree angle, holding the cutter on its left-hand side, we will be sharpening the left-hand side of the parting tool tip. Use care not to run into the leading edge on the left. Use care not to run into the leading edge on the left-hand side of the cutter. There is a possibility that this can become hot, so it's a good idea to have a little water to dip the cutter in. Now that looks pretty good. We've got a nice sharp edge. We've got a nice sharp edge. Now we'll roll the cutter over into the bottom side. Okay, now we will resharpen the top of the cutter and making sure that we remove the black part of the magic marker. Now the only part of the cutter that we need to sharpen is the front part. There's no need to do the entire length of the cutter. And as we turn it over, we can see on the down for the bottom side where my thumb is, we've removed the black. If we've removed the black, that means we've got an entirely new surface and it should be sharp. Now we'll turn the cutter over and do the same thing on this side. Maybe just a little bit more up on the corner. And I'm getting warm, so I'll dip it in a little water. And it looks fine. We should be ready to go. If you notice in the middle of the cutter, there is a facet. That does not hurt a thing, and it will perform real good. We're ready to install back on the coring system and resume coring.